Hello everybody, Chris from the Headache and Pain Management Centre here for your Monday and answering a question that came through the messenger over the weekend in response to one of the videos I put up last week. And today's question is, what does it mean when it's throbbing in the temple? So when you have pain in your head, whether it be a tension type feeling or a throbbing migraine type feeling, when it throbs and aches right in here, so either on this side of the temple or that side of the temple, or sometimes both. So when you have throbbing in the temple, it's really uncomfortable. Today, I'd like to answer that question for you. If you're joining me, type in hello, say g'day, and of course, any questions, please type them in and we'll go from there. So, nice to see you there. Thanks for joining. So basically, throbbing in the temples. Now, this can be pretty frightening when you have this for the first time. It feels like sort of a real driving, thumping type pain right in the side of your head, right in through this area here. It can be on one side or it can be on both. Now, here's the key. When it comes to temple pain, it's really important to get it checked out first up, especially if it's brand new, especially if the pain sufferer is a child, or if it's a brand new headache for someone over the age of 50. Basically, we want to make sure that anything nasty is ruled out first before we start going down this line of reasoning. Because obviously, when you have a brand new headache, you need to make sure that there's nothing nasty going on. Now, obviously, if you've had all the tests, you've had a scan, if anyone, your GP or your doctor is quite satisfied that there's nothing happening there which is dangerous, the next thing to look at is what can cause it. And basically, when you have pain in the temple right here, where it's kind of thumping away in through here, sometimes it can pulse or throb with your heartbeat. It's important to work out why the pain is actually there. Now, here's the thing. When you have temple pain, it's actually no different really to having pain in your temple, having pain in your forehead, or having pain in your eye, because the pain that comes into your head all comes from the same place, and that is a part of your brain which takes in all the nerves from your top lip all the way and up and over to the back of the neck. So when the pain is throbbing, when it's thumping away there in your temple, it actually gives us an idea as to which joint of your neck is referring that pain to your temple. So when you have pain that sort of thumps in through the side here, it's really, really common for us to find that it's a referred pain from the joint right up under your skull. So right at the top, it's the joint between your head and the top of your neck. Sometimes we call it the atlanto-occipital joint. Other times you call it the OC1 joint. So when you have pain in the side of your head, a lot of the time it's actually referred pain from the very top of your neck. So when we're looking to examine the neck to see what's going on, quite often it's actually a movement of that joint right at the very top of your neck. Now, you might be asking, now how the hell can you have a really stabbing pain or even a throbbing pain that happens in the side of your head and it be coming from your neck? How does that work out? I mean, it feels like that it's my veins pulsing. It feels like it's my arteries pulsing when I'm getting a pain through there. Now, this is actually what happens when you have headache or migraine. When you have a sensitive system which is causing a headache or a migraine, what happens is that normal input that's going through your system there, so in this case, the feeling of the blood vessels inside your head. Now, normally those blood vessels you don't actually feel because day to day you're just doing your thing. You're not always feeling like any throbbing anywhere because, hey, let's face it, every second of every day, your heart is beating and it's pumping blood through your body and obviously through your brain. Really important to have it through your brain. Now, when you have a headache that throbs and pulses like that, basically it's a bit of an error in the signaling where your brain is interpreting normal input, so normal blood pressure, pulsing of your veins and arteries. It's actually taking that and it's getting the signal wrong and it thinks that it's dangerous. Okay, so because there's something sensitive, your brain is actually tricked into thinking the throbbing is something dangerous. Okay, now obviously it's important to get this checked out because if you've got a throbbing type feeling there, it's important to get it checked out to make sure there is nothing going on there. But as I said to you before, if everything's all clear, then the throbbing and pulsing feeling that you're feeling in your temple is actually a red herring. It's a false signal to say that there's something actually not quite right. In actual fact, there's nothing wrong with the vessels themselves, but rather the system that the feeling of the vessels goes through. So if you've got a stiff neck, if it's a little bit tight or there's a problem with the joint at the back of your neck, you can actually feel like you're getting a throbbing and pulsing feeling somewhere else. So it's not in your neck, you actually feel it in your temple. It's really difficult to sort of wrap your head around that, because the narrative around throbbing and pulsing headaches for the last 50 years has been, well, it must be something to do with the blood vessels because it throbs and it pulses. But in actual fact, what it is, it's a sensitive system. The whole thing is sensitized, and your brain is misreading the signals as there's something wrong with my blood vessels, when in actual fact there's something wrong generally with your neck, and that's the problem where it comes from there. So a really good way to know that it is your neck is that if you get a throbbing feeling on one side of your head, and it can swap across to the other side of your head. So one day it's on your right, the next day it's on your left, or perhaps it's 1 week it's on your right, 1 week it's on your left. So if that's the case, then your neck is the prime suspect, even though it feels like there's a throbbing, pulsing sensation that's happening from there. So when you have a throbbing, pulsing type headache, really important to get it checked out first from your GP. Make sure your blood pressure's fine, make sure there's no nasties going on with things like temporal arteries and things like that. And if that's all clear, then getting your neck checked is the next best thing to do, because you can get a false positive, you can get a throbbing, pulsing feeling in the side of your head, and it's not actually anything throbbing and pulsing that's the problem, but rather your brain's being tricked into thinking that the throbbing and pulsing is the problem. I hope that makes sense. Hey, if there's any questions about anything like that, and if you actually do get throbbing and pulsing headaches, type in below pulsing, and I'll get in touch with you to explain a little bit more in your individual case. So just type in pulsing underneath there if you'd like a bit more detail about how your throbbing and pulsing headache in your temple may be coming from your neck. And naturally, if there's any questions, please type in below as well, and I'll get in touch with you. Hey, that's been fun. If there's any more questions or anything else, please let us know. Like, share, comment, as usual, tag below, and I'll again see you later this week with another topic and another video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.